Good morning, first years. Now we are going to see about the pancreas. Okay, where the pancreas is lying down. The pancreas is lying on the posterior abdominal wall in front of the abdominal aorta and lumbar vertebra. Okay, it extends between the C-shaped cube C-shape and curvature of duodenum and the spleen. Okay, pancreas contains a head, body and tail. Okay, head, body and tail. Okay, so structure is the bulk of pancreas contain exocrine cells called acini, and the acini secretes the pancreatic juice which is digestive in function. Okay, so what is that? The bulk of pancreas contains exocrine cells called acini. That acini secretes the pancreatic juice which is digestive in function. Okay, in between the acini there are some endocrine cells called islets of Langerhans. Okay, so this islets of Langerhans, your first one more questions will come. Islets of Langerhans, that is the acini, there is some endocrine cells, that is pancreas, where the pancreas juice is secreting, that is from the islets of Langerhans. Okay, the islets of Langerhans are present more in one tail portion of pancreas. The islets constitute to the extent of 1% of the wet weight of pancreas. There are 1 to 2 million islets of pancreas. This islets contains two types of cells. One is alpha cells, that is beta cells. So alpha cells is secreting glucagon and beta cells is secreting insulin. Okay, so once again I will tell you, that is islets of Langerhans. The insulin is secreting from the islets of Langerhans. In that two types of cells are there. One is for the alpha cells and one is for the beta cells. This alpha cells is secreting glucagon and beta cells is secreting insulin. Okay, so insulin, you know that okay, so insulin, you know that diabetic patients we need insulin. Okay, so here it is when the glucose level is increased in the body, the insulin will be secrete and normalize the blood sugar. So same thing like for when the glucose is needed for the body, so glycogen will be converted into the glucose and giving the energy to the body. This is the main function of the islets of Langerhans. Okay, the next one is glycogen. That is it is a hormone secreted by the alpha cells and the islets of Langerhans. What is the function? Here it is increase the blood sugar level by mobilizing glycogen from the liver. The glycogen is stored in the liver. So the liver when the body need glycogen like a glucose. So when you are doing athletics or when you are doing games or when you are doing or starvation, so these are all the periods when you are not eating the food. So during that time what happen? This alpha cells will be secreting and it will the glycogen will be converted into the glucose. So that is so the glucose, the body will get the glucose. The glucose is utilized as a energy. Okay, so next one is a mobilization of stored fat. Okay, the stored fat, the fats and all, it is stored in the adipose tissues. So from the adipose tissues it will be converted into the fat will be converting and the fat will be mobilized. Mobilized means from movement, from the where the fat is more, from that where the body need the fat. So there the fat will be moving. Okay, then next one is a release of insulin from the pancreas. So what is the another one function is releasing the insulin. So releasing the insulin is why, what is the purpose for the insulin? When the body is getting more glucose, okay, like we can take non-veg, or we can take more glucose like sweet items. When our body is having that more glucose, the islets of pancreas, that beta cells will be secreting, and insulin will be more. So insulin, what is the function of the insulin? The insulin will go and make the glucose to glycogen, convert into the glycogen. So that is a function of glycogen. Then next one is a insulin. The hormone is secreted by the beta cells of the islets of Langerhans. Okay, it is important. Action of insulin is to decrease the level of glucose in the blood. Okay, so increase the glycogen synthesis, but preventing glycogen breakdown in the liver. So here it is already, I have said that glycogen will be stored in the liver. So that liver, when the body is getting more glucose, so it won't be converted. The insulin will go and affect the liver and make that glycogen become to be like a glucose. It is preventing the glycogen to be glucose. Okay, by preventing fresh synthesis of glucose. That is we can study in the, you have studied in your 10th and plus 2 and all, glyconeogenesis. Okay, so it's stimulating the uptake and utilization of glucose in the skeletal muscles. The next one is promoting the conversion of glucose into fat in the adipose tissues. That is promoting the conversion of glucose into glycogen, and it is stored in the adipose tissues. So disorders of insulin secretion. The disorders, it decrease the synthesis of insulin, produces diabetes mellitus. Okay, that is we are calling diabetic patients. Okay, here next one is a sex gland. Okay, sex gland, that is, you know that gonads, that is ovaries. For the females, it secretes the estrogen and progesterone. Ovaries are secreting estrogen and the progesterone. Testes is secreting androgen. Okay, so what is that? How the function is going on? That is, first one is estrogen. In the female sex hormone secreted by the ovaries, the functions are regulation of the menstrual cycle, development of secondary sexual characteristics, and secretion of estrogen, and controlled by follicle stimulating hormone of the anterior pituitary. Okay, so once again I'll tell you, that is estrogen. It is a female sexual hormone secreted by the ovaries. And what is the function of this one, estrogen and the progesterone? Regulates the menstrual cycle, development of secondary sexual characteristics, and the secretion of estrogen, and is controlled by follicle stimulating hormone. Okay, so next one is progesterone. Okay, so progesterone is, it is also the female sexual hormone secreted by the ovary. That is what is the function of the progesterone? The progesterone is maturation and development of uterus and the breast. Progesterone, what is the use of the progesterone? Progesterone is mainly, it is used for the maturation and development of uterus and the breast. Okay, so the next one is a preparation of uterus to receive the fertilized ovum. Okay, so what is the function of the progesterone? The progesterone also, it is a female hormone. The female hormone, what is the function of the female hormone? Or that is maturation and development of uterus and the breast. And one more function is preparation of the uterus to receive the fertilized ovum. Okay, the next one is androgen. Androgen is a male sexual hormone which is secreted by the interstitial cells of the testis. Okay, interstitial cells of the testis. It is very difficult only, but you have to remember. Okay, the testis, where it is secreting, it is interstitial cells of the testis. Okay, the most important androgen and testosterone, the important function of the androgen are stimulating the spermatogenesis. Okay, spermatogenesis, you have studied in your anatomy reproductive system. So that is a stimulation of spermatogenesis, growth of penis and scrotum and the prostate. Okay, growth of penis, scrotum and the prostate. Development of secondary sexual characteristics and the secretion of androgen is controlled by luteinizing hormone of anterior pituitary. Okay, so androgen, what is the function of the androgen? That is stimulation of spermatogenesis, then growth of penis, scrotum and the prostate, development of secondary sexual characteristics, and the secretion of androgen is controlled by the luteinizing hormone. Next one is thymus. Okay, it is a thymus, that is it is present in the upper part of the cavity of the trachea. It's behind the sternum but in front of the heart with the arch of aorta. It consists of 2 lobes. Each lobe consists of number of lobules. The thymus is a bigger size at birth. The growth in size until puberty. Later it's gradually decrease the size. So thymus gland, where it is situated, it is a posterior part of the chest and in front of the heart and the arch of aorta. Consists of 2 lobes and it is having a numbers of many lobules. Okay, it stimulates the this one puberty. Okay, so it's bigger in the size of the size at birth, and when it is grows, then during the puberty and latency stages, it will be shrink. Okay, that is the function of thymus gland is mostly consists of lymphoid tissues. Okay, it takes part of the production of lymphocytes and hormonal secretions of thymus. Plays maximum 6 role of development. Okay, then pineal gland and the pineal body, it is not important only, but you can study. Okay, just to go through that. Okay, it is a very small situated in the brain below the corpus callosum. Okay, and behind the third ventricle, the reddish gray in color and measures about 10 mm in the length. The shape is similar to the pine cone. The exact function of the pineal gland are not unknown. Perhaps the influence of release and gonadotrophic hormone from the anterior pituitary. Okay, so these are all the things are for endocrine system. Okay, okay, so these are all the things. Now I hope you finished this one, endocrine system. So you study well, prepare for your examination, and we will keep the one viva also. Okay, fine, bye.